Okay, so now we're in Chapter 1, Lesson 2, and this one's really short. All we're talking about here is congruence. Now, one thing to denote here, there is a difference between congruent and equal. Whenever we're talking about congruent, we're talking about the shape. So segment AB and segment CD are congruent. The shapes are congruent. Now, why are they congruent? Because the measures are equal. Okay, so when we talk about equal, we're talking about values, number values. When we talk about congruent, we're talking about the actual shape itself. So here are some real quick problems, and it's really just measuring. So taking these out of the book where they give you some rulers. So all I want to do here is just try to review some things here. When you're doing centimeters, if you look here, these are broken up into 10 little segments. So if you did this one, you would say it's 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost 8. So you would say 5.8 centimeters. So 5.8, and then put your units. Okay, always put your units here. Let's take a different one here. That's in inches. So you want to pay attention to how many it's broken into. So let's do number 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this one's also divided into 10. So you would say that's 1.3 inches since that one's divided into 10. So 1.3 inches. Now, let's come back to the number 3 because it's a little different. So if you pay attention to it, it's broken up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Okay, so it's divided into sixteenths. So you can't write it as a decimal. You would have to write 1, and this was at number 14 here. So 1 and 14 sixteenths inches. Now, one thing you need to do is always reduce fractions. So you can do this on the calculator. Type in 14 over 16 and then do math frac, and it'll reduce it for you. And if you do that, you're going to end up with 1 and 7/8 inches. Okay, let's scroll back down here and look at a couple of these others. Alright, right here, number 5, it wants the measure of the segment CD. So when you're looking here from C to D, so how do you get that? All you do is you add these two together. If you do that, you get 3.8 inches. Alright, let's do one that's a little bit more difficult here. Let's talk about number 7. So I'm going to bring it down here. It says B is between C and D. So I'm going to draw a segment, C, D, and it says B is between it. So I'm going to put B between it. Now I'm going to label it. It says CB, so from C to B is 2x. Then from B to D it says is 4x. And then it says BD here is 12. So it's wanting you to find the value of x. So what's the relationship? And you're going to find I use this a lot in geometry, relationships. These two things are equal. So we say 4x equals 12. So we need to solve that equation. So we divide both sides by 4. And we get x is 3. Okay, now let's do something a little different here. Let's do number 8. So I'm going to change colors. I'm going to bring 8 down here. I'm going to draw a new picture. Still have C and D, where B is between. It says CB is 4x minus 9. BD is 3x plus 5. But then this time it gives me from C to D is 17. Now, how do I get that whole thing? Well, I have to take this part and add them together to get the whole thing. So 4x minus 9 plus 3x plus 5 equals 17. So we got to do a little algebra here. Those are like terms, so I combine them. These are like terms. Negative 9 plus 5 is negative 4. 17. Add 4 to both sides. If I do that, I get 7x equals 16. Oops, I messed up here. Sorry, that should be a 7. So 17 plus 4 should be 21. Sorry about that. 21. Then I divide by 7. So 21 divided by 7 is 3. So that would be x.